Hello there, Mr. Sutton here with the IM321 Part 2 homework solutions on operations with polynomials. For this problem, we're given that a is x squared minus 5x plus 2, and b is 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 6. Given this, what's the value of 3a minus b in terms of x? So my very first step here is I'm going to replace a with this stuff and b with this other stuff. So I've got 3 times x squared minus 5x plus 2. And when I do this, I need to make sure I use a parentheses there, because whatever is happening to a is happening to this whole expression here, not just part of it. So the parentheses keeps it all together. And then I have to subtract b, so I'm subtracting this 3x cubed business, which I will also put in parentheses, because again, I want to make sure I don't lose anything. I want to make sure I treat all of this stuff to this negative sign. Now I'm going to do a whole bunch of distributing, and then I'll combine like terms. So let's take care of the 3 first. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times negative 5x, that's negative 15x. 3 times 2 is 6. And now I'm going to distribute this negative sign here. So I'm really multiplying a negative 1 by all the stuff in here. So this is negative 3x cubed minus 4x squared plus 6. Negative negative is positive. Next, I'm going to combine like terms. And while I'm at it, I'm going to write these in decreasing order of exponents, because that's how the answer choices are written. So looking through here, the highest exponent is actually this negative 3x cubed. So I'm going to write that first, and notice that the negative goes with it. Next, x squareds, I have a 3x squared. I have a negative 4x squared. 3 minus 4 gives us a negative 1x squared. And I don't have to write the invisible one there. Next, the x's, we have a negative 15x, and it doesn't look like there's any other x's, so I'll just write negative 15x. Finally, we're down to the constants. We have a 6, we have another 6, adds up to 12. And it looks like this is going to be, let's see here, answer choice B. In order to multiply all of this stuff together, I have to go 2 things at a time. So I'm going to multiply the 4 and the x plus 3 together by distributing the 4. So that's going to be 4x plus 12, and I'll put that in a parentheses. Next, I'm going to multiply these 2 parentheses together. So I've got 4x times 2x, that gives me 8x squared. 4x times negative 5 is negative 20x. And then we have 12 times 2x for 24x. Finally, 12 times negative 5 for negative 60. Don't forget to combine like terms. Negative 20x combines with 24x to give us 4x in the middle. So we have 8x squared plus 4x minus 60. To simplify this problem, we have to multiply all this stuff together. And we have to make sure that we're only multiplying 2 things at a time. So I'm going to start by multiplying 5x and 2x plus 8. Basically distribute 5x to this. So that's going to give me, let's see, 5x times 2x is 10x squared. And then 5x times 8 is going to be 40x. So there's my first parentheses. The second parentheses is still the same. I can't distribute 5x to the second parentheses because I already used it up distributing to the first one. All right, so now we're going to distribute these 2 parentheses together by using FOIL. So basically 10x squared times both things over here, and then 40x times this whole second parentheses. So let's start with 10x squared times 5x. That's going to be 50x to the 2 plus 1 using my exponent rules. So that's 50x cubed. And then we have 10x squared times 2. That's 20x squared. And then 40x times 5x. That's going to be 200x squared. Finally, 40x times 2 is 80x. And we're adding that. Let's see, like terms, I can add these x squareds in the middle. That's going to be 220x squared, and we still have the 50x cubed and the 80x along for the ride. On this problem, to simplify, I'm multiplying these parentheses together, which means I have to distribute both the 2x and the negative 7 to this whole second parentheses. So I'm just going to write this next part out. I've got 2x times that whole second parentheses minus 7 times that whole second parentheses. And you don't have to necessarily show this step to get full credit, but I think it's helpful to write it out just so you know what you're actually multiplying together. So now I'm just going to use the distributive property and a whole bunch of it. We have 2x times x squared giving us 2x cubed. And then 2x times negative 5x is negative 10x squared. 2x times 7 is 14x. Now we move on to the negative 7, distributing that. So we're going to have negative 7x squared. And then negative 7 times negative 5x is plus 35x. Finally, negative 7 times 7 gives us negative 49. Now I'm going to combine like terms. The 2x cubed is the only one of its kind. It's the only x cubed. So that's just going to stay the way it is. Nothing I can combine with that. The x squareds, though, I have an x squared here and also over here. Negative 10x squared minus 7x squared. That's a grand total of negative 17x squared. We add the coefficients, keep the variable and the exponent the same. And then we have a 14x plus 35x gives us 49x. And finally, this negative 49, there's nothing to combine with that, so we just carry that down. For this one, we're trying to multiply these two parentheses together. To do this, I'm going to have to take 6x, multiply it by that whole second parentheses, distributing. And then I'm going to have to take 4 and do the exact same thing, multiply it by that second parentheses. So I'm going to write out this step, although you don't have to, but this is what's really going on, is we've got two distributions going on. All right, let's do the 6x parentheses first. So 6x times 2x squared, that's going to be 12x to the, let's see here, 1 plus 2. Doing my exponent rules, I add the exponents. So 12x cubed. And then 6x times negative 3x, that's 18x squared minus that. 6x times negative 5, that's negative 30x. And then we have 4 being distributed. So 4 times 2x squared is plus 8x squared. 4 times negative 3x, that's negative 12x. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. And now I combine whatever like terms there are. So we have a 12x cubed, that's all by itself. Nothing to combine with that, no other x cubes. But these x squareds can get combined. We have a negative 18x squared plus 8x squared. That's going to be a negative 10x squared. And then we have a negative 30x. We can combine that with a negative 12x. That's negative 42x. And then finally, this negative 20 is just by itself. For this multiple choice question, we have to combine these two polynomial expressions. So first thing I'm going to do is just pop this first parentheses. I don't really need it there at all. So I have ab squared plus 4a squared plus 6a squared b squared. No other changes for those first three terms. Now to get rid of this second parentheses, I have to distribute a negative, invisible negative 1 to everything in there. So I'm really doing plus ab squared minus 2a squared b squared minus 4a squared. At this point, I can combine like terms, but before I do that, I'm actually going to write the like terms next to each other. These are all very similar, and it's kind of confusing if you're just trying to add things without putting it next to each other. So I'm going to rewrite these a little bit. So we have an ab squared and another ab squared right here. I'll just put those next to each other. We have a, let's see here, a 4a squared and a negative 4a squared that I'll also write next to each other. And then we have this 6a squared b squared minus 2a squared b squared. All right, so this makes it just a little bit easier to make sure I'm adding like terms together. ab squared plus ab squared, those are really invisible coefficients of 1. So this comes out to 2ab squared. And then 4a squared minus 4a squared, those actually cancel out. So I don't have to write anything for that. And over here we have a 6a squared b squared and a minus 2 of that. So that comes out to positive 4a squared b squared. And is that going to be one of my answer choices? It is. Answer choice D. For this problem, we have an algebraic expression here. They're saying if that is simplified to the form ax plus b, what's the value of a, b, which is to say a times b? So first thing we need to do is simplify this expression and hope that it looks like this ax plus b format. So to simplify this, I have to first distribute to get rid of those parentheses. So distributing this 3, we've got 3 times 5x is 15x, 3 times 8 is 24. And then distributing negative 4, we have negative 4 times 3x is negative 12x. Negative 4 times negative 2 is plus 8. And then I can combine some like terms here. 15x minus 12x is 3x. 24 plus 8 is 32. Okay, so this is in ax plus b form. We have a number times x plus another constant. So a in this case is 3. B in this case is this constant over here, 32. So then a times b, really just means 3 times 32, which, if you multiply that out, comes out to 96.